So, you want to know what it really takes to secure an AI system? Today, we are going deep, right under the hood of AI security. Let's dive in. When most of us think about locking down AI, we kind of picture this single giant brain, right? Like a mysterious black box that just works. But is that the whole story? Not even close.
The truth is, if you really want to protect an AI system, you can't just treat it like one big thing. You've got to break it down. And it turns out it's not one thing at all. It's three.
All right, let's start with the part everyone talks about, the model. This is, for all intents and purposes, the brain of the whole operation. So, what is it, really? Well, simply put, the model is the algorithm that's been trained to do the actual thinking. It takes in a bunch of information, chews on it, and then spits out a prediction or a decision. It's the engine that makes the whole thing go. And if you want to get a little more technical, experts at places like MIT and Stanford describe it as a web of internal weights. Just picture millions of tiny little dials all tuned perfectly to figure out how to make the right call. That's the secret sauce. But here's the catch. Just like any brain, it's vulnerable. It can be fooled, it can be confused, and it can even be stolen. The security folks over at OWASP point to two huge risks here. First, you've got model extraction. That's literally someone walking in and stealing your secret sauce, the model itself. But then there's something even scarier, model poisoning. This is where an attacker secretly messes with the model's training, teaching it to make bad or even dangerous decisions on purpose. And you can see the difference, right? It's night and day. A healthy model does exactly what you expect. A compromised one, well, it can be stolen, or worse, it can be tricked into giving you completely wrong answers, which can be absolutely disastrous. So that brings up a really important question. Okay, if the model is the brain, where does it get all its knowledge? What's it actually learning from? And that leads us right to part two, the data. See, if the model is the brain, then the data is its diet. And we all know the old saying, you are what you eat. The whole process is actually pretty straightforward. You start with a ton of raw information, which gets cleaned up and organized into these special training data sets. This is the stuff the model studies to learn how to think. And the end result? The model's behavior is a direct mirror image of the data you fed it. And this is the key, right here. As the experts from Google AI and Pinecone point out, if your data is messed up, your model is going to learn all the wrong things. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem. If the diet is junk, well, the brain is going to develop some really bad habits. Okay, so we've got the brain, the model, and we've got the diet, the data. Honestly, these two things get pretty much all the attention, all the headlines when we talk about AI. But what if I told you that the biggest, most common vulnerability is the one we almost never talk about, the one that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Which brings us to our third and final piece of the puzzle, the pipeline. Now, this isn't the brain and it isn't the diet. Think of this as the entire assembly line that hooks everything up and makes it all work. The pipeline is the system's backbone. It's all the automated plumbing and wiring that sucks in the data, feeds it to the model, grabs the answer, and then delivers it to you, the user. It's the connective tissue holding the whole thing together. And this is the kicker. According to Google's own MLOps guides and, again, OWASP, a huge number of real-world security breaches don't actually happen by attacking the fancy model. No, they happen by attacking the boring, behind-the-scenes assembly line. That's how they get in. So let's put this all together. If you want to secure an AI, you can't just focus on one piece. You have to look at the whole system. So let's recap one more time. You've got the model, the brain, which can be stolen or poisoned. You've got the data, the diet, which if it's corrupted leads to a broken brain. And then you have the pipeline, the assembly line, where one little crack can bring the whole operation crashing down. So here's the big takeaway. AI security isn't about protecting one single thing. It's about securing a whole interconnected system. Because really, protecting the model but ignoring the pipeline, that's like putting a huge lock on your front door but leaving all the windows wide open. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Now that you can see the brain, the diet, and the assembly line, where's your weakest link?